I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome our audience to the Berks County Commissioners Weekly Update. Our topic today is chirp, and that has nothing to do with the fact that we're almost in spring-like weather today. It actually deals with the COVID Hospitality Industry Recovery Program. We are broadcasting live via Microsoft Teams live event, and you can also watch us on BCTV and Facebook Live. At this time, I'd like to recognize Barbara Lopez. She is the Executive Assistant for Commissioner Michael Rivera. Barbara.
Thank you, Commissioner. Comments or questions must be germane to the topic being discussed and include your full name and municipality where you reside. If you are from the media, please put your name and who you are with. Non-media participants, please limit your questions and comments to one person.
Thank you very much, Barbara. This is an important topic. As we look back over 12 months, and literally at this point last year, we had already, as a county, sent out information to all of our department heads and the courts, letting them know about COVID, letting them know that they needed to prepare for the potential of a pandemic. At that point in time, it had not occurred. And just a few days later, March the 12th, Berks County put in place an emergency declaration, and things got bad pretty quickly. It was by mid-March that the governor began to take some serious action that ultimately led to the closing of bars and restaurants, the closing, not necessarily completely, but of the tourist and hospitality industry. And there is probably no industry nationwide. I can tell you my conversations with our state association, the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, and with the National Association of Counties. There's no industry that has been hit harder than the hospitality industry. This program is designed to help that industry, but frankly, there are a number of businesses that have already closed and will never reopen as a result of the pandemic and a variety of decisions that were made over the course of the pandemic. We're not through the pandemic. We are hopeful that with vaccine supply growing and the continued decline in the COVID data, that we are nearing maybe the latter third, but we really don't know. What is important is that there are dollars now being made available for our hospitality industry, and we're excited to be able to host this program. I want to recognize Commissioner Michael Rivera. Commissioner Rivera has played some key roles in a variety of areas with the COVID response, and he is going to be leading the program today. He has a great panel representing some key partners, and I'm going to allow Commissioner Michael Rivera to introduce the panelists and to take over the program. Commissioner Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach, and looking forward to this program. We're going to be talking about what is the COVID-19 Hospitality Industry Recovery Program. And through this program, Berks County got $4.77 million, which will be made available to help support businesses within the hospitality industry with grants from between $5,000 to $50,000. And this program is going to be administered through the Greater Berks Development Fund, which is part of the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance, and also the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce and the Kutztown University Small Business Development Center will be assisting as well. So today we have a great panel to talk about this program. We're going to talk about what the program is, who qualifies, how to apply, and we're also going to be opening up for any questions. So please, if you're watching this program on Facebook, please help us share it. Our goal is to get this information out to as many people as possible within the hospitality industry, so that we can make sure that those businesses that truly need this money know about it and are able to apply, because we want to make sure that these businesses that have been hurt so hard are able to have some form of relief to be able to continue on with their operations. So thank you for watching in today. Thank you to the panelists that are here today, and I'm looking forward to a great information-filled program. Our guests today are five, and they are, first of all, Deb Millman, who is the Vice President of Development for the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance. We also have Aaron Gantz, who is the Senior Director of Economic Development for the Greater Reading Chamber Alliance. John Stetler, who is the Director for the Kutztown University Small Business Development Center. Angel Figueroa, who is representing the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce. And Crystal Seitz, who is the President of Pennsylvania's Americana Region's Visitor Bureau. And they are here to talk with us, have a conversation about the CHIRP program, and share some valuable information with you today. So before I get started on what the CHIRP program is, and this question goes to any of the panelists, why is this program important in our community now? I know we spoke about that. I know Commissioner Leinbach spoke about it a little bit. I spoke about it a little bit. But from your point of view, why is it a program that's essential? And any of the panelists, feel free to respond.
Well, I can respond to that. I think we're at a point with the hospitality industry. I think currently we're at a point where our businesses have really been able to get very few dollars to help support their businesses at this time. We're also coming into a summer month where we're hoping, if the vaccines do come into place and we start to have herd immunity, our businesses can start to gear up, because there's an expectation from a national level and a state level with tourism and hospitality that people are pent up, and by mid-June to later in the summer, there's going to be an explosion of people wanting to get out and do things. Our businesses have to be prepared to do that. But also from a community perspective, I think what happens is, our residents use our local businesses. They use our restaurants. If our restaurants start to close down, it really affects our local community as well. And hopefully, as the guidances, the mitigations change so that we can get more people into our restaurants, they'll be able to gear up and apply more staff to what they're doing. I think these grants will help us, because there's still a gap there that hasn't been filled through payroll, rent, and mortgages that, these businesses are really suffering. So this is such a tremendous time to have this offered to us, and I appreciate that, and I'm thankful that our commissioners were able to secure it, and I'm also thankful to GRCA that they're able to put this together, because I'm sure that was a huge undertaking to do so quickly.
Yeah, GRCA really dove into this and worked long hours to get this ready. Believe me, this is the third grant that the county works on, and it's not easy to be able to set up all the guidelines, the applications, all the back office process that goes into it. So yes, thank you to the GRCA for putting this together. I was able to see what the application will look like, and something that we're doing in this program is we're trying to streamline it. We're trying to make it as simple as possible for the businesses to be able to apply. So a huge thank you to the GRCA for working on this with the county. And Crystal, as you said, these businesses have been hit hard. And if we look back, all of the restaurants and some of the other businesses had to close completely for 3 weeks over one of the busiest seasons that they have. So that really impacted them as well, and impacted them, the employees, and there's a big long list of people that were impacted because of those 3 weeks that the restaurants and other industries had to be closed. So hopefully we're getting towards the tail end of COVID. Hopefully these businesses will be able to get back to normal as well, so we can ensure that more of them do not close, because these are important parts of our economy, as you stated earlier on. So now let's talk a little bit about what the CHIRP program is. Aaron or Deb, do you want to talk about what the CHIRP program is, how much money is available, and any other information that you want to share about it? Okay, we have the PowerPoint here that we're going to present, and Aaron, you're going to talk about it here.
Commissioner, I will actually start off if you
Okay.
you can hear me. So good afternoon, and thank you to Commissioner Leinbach and Commissioner Rivera for the opportunity to present information on the CHIRP program. As the Commissioner mentioned, the Greater Berks Development Fund is the designated entity that will officially be administering the program, but it really is being supported by the full Greater Reading Chamber Alliance organization. And as Commissioner Rivera mentioned, over the past several weeks, we have been working with the county, Kutztown Small Business Development Center, the Berks Latino Chamber of Commerce, and PA Americana to prepare for the launch of this very important program for our Berks County businesses. Next. Great. So Senate Bill 109 is the legislation for this program, and it has very specific requirements that will govern the delivery of this program. And so in order for a business to be eligible, the following criteria must be met. And first and foremost, the business must have its primary NAICS code, must be within the accommodation subsector, which is 721, or the food services and delivery and drinking place subsector, which is 722. And NAICS code stands for the North American Industry Classification System. And there will be a link on the application if an entity does not know for certain what their NAICS code is to help them determine that. And on the Rebuild Berks website currently, there is a how to apply document that also guides businesses as to where to look on their tax return for that NAICS code. So we're hoping that people will spend some time ahead of the March 15th application launch to really determine what their exact NAICS code designation is. And it is important to note that it must be the business's primary operation. For example, a golf course that also happens to serve food and drink would not be eligible because that's not its primary operation. So second, the business must not have had more than 300 full-time equivalent employees as of February 15th, 2020. The business must have less than a $15 million tangible net worth. The business must have been in operation on February 15th, 2020, is currently operating and will not permanently cease operations within 1 year of the application. The next test that must be met is that the business cannot be publicly traded. It must have a location in Berks County, which sounds obvious, but it's a requirement. And the last test is the one that is being shown on the screen right now, and it really relates to the revenue loss that a business has incurred. So the requirement under the legislation is that a business must have experienced a 25% reduction in revenue under a few different tests. But really what the tests are geared towards is to when that business was in operation in 2019 and 2020. So when you're reading through these tests and you're a business, you should be able to quickly determine which category you fall into. And then the application will have a quick spreadsheet that will help you make that calculation on the 25% reduction in revenue. So it seems like a lot of words, but really there's only one category that a business really needs to pick and then can move into how to calculate the reduction in revenue.
So the online application can be found on rebuildberks.com and will be live starting at noon on Monday, March 15th, and will close on Monday, April 5th at 5 p.m. Since there are hundreds of potential applicants in Berks County and with a $4.7 million available of total in funding, we wanted to make sure that businesses weren't continuing to submit applications before the funds run out. The applications received during this time will be reviewed and based on the number and amount approved. There could be the need for a second round. The second round would open on April 26th. On the Rebuild Berks website, there is currently a summary of the program, a how to apply document, and a frequently asked questions page. There are 3 areas in which priority is given to applications. An applicant has not received any COVID-19 funding from other sources, whether that be PPP, EIDL, the County of Berks Restart, or New Start funding, etc. A business is still eligible to apply if they have received any of those funds, but they will not be identified as a priority. If the business was subject to a shutdown order by Governor Wolf, or the business has experienced a greater than 50% loss in revenue between March and December of 2019 and 2020. So this is a series of required documents. So internal monthly or quarterly financial statements for 2019 and 2020, a 2019 federal tax return, a 2020 federal tax return if it has been filed. For those businesses in the 722 NAICS code, that's restaurants and food operations, a copy of your license to operate a food facility. And for businesses in the 721 NAICS code, a copy of your local business license, occupancy permit, or PA state sales certificate will be required. General information that will be required. This should be the easy part, your business name, EIN, or the last 4 digits of a social security number, again, the NAICS code, description of the business, a number of employees, address and primary contact information, and name of any business owner or partner who owns more than 50%. So on, I think Deb is going to be taking this part. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. And I did want to mention the priorities that Erin outlined are directly from the legislation and are, the guidelines that we must follow in terms of looking at the applications. In terms of what the question of the grant amount that can be requested and what needs to be provided, it really is a 2-part test. So first, the application will contain an operating expense spreadsheet that will need to be completed. And the time frame for these expenses is between any expenses that have incurred between March 1st, 2020 and the date of that the application is submitted. And the expenses are really considered the ordinary and necessary expenses that are appropriate for an applicant's business, such as mortgage payments, lease payments, payroll, etc. So if a business has received other COVID-19 funding, it cannot count expenses for which they have already received a grant, a loan, etc., to offset those particular expenses. Now, the second part of the grant request test is that of annual revenues. So an applicant may look at the chart, which we are going to provide, to see, based on annual revenues, what amount they may be eligible for. So when an applicant adds up their operating expenses and then compares that to the number of related to the revenue, the lesser of those 2 amounts is what the grant request can be. So it really is a matter of comparing the eligible operating expenses to the maximum per grant amount allowed based on revenues, and then making the determination the lesser of those 2 numbers is what will be the requested grant amount. And as Commissioner Rivera mentioned, the grant requests are from $5,000 to $50,000, and they are going to be awarded in $5,000 increments. So as you can see on the chart, it's 5, 10, 15, etc. So once the first round of applications have been reviewed, the applicants who have been approved for funding will be contacted by the Greater Berks Development Fund via email or telephone call. The grant awardees will be required to sign a grant agreement, which must be signed and returned within 15 calendar days of receipt. After the execution of the grant contract and its return, the funds will be dispersed with all efforts being made to have that happen between 10 to 12 days after the return of the grant agreement. So for general questions, our email address for the program is financing@greaterreading.org, or the telephone number of 610-898-7782. And the Kutztown SBC, John will be speaking about their assistance and Angel will be speaking about the Latino Chamber. But I would encourage folks to visit the rebuildberks.com website now. As we mentioned, there are a list of already frequently asked questions that we are compiling and answering on the website. There is a list of how to apply documents that will be really great to have handy when the application's open. And there is just a general summary of the program as well. So we will continue to populate that up until the date that the application is launched, and adding to the frequently asked questions as we see them coming in even after the application period has opened. So at this time, I think we'll turn it back to Commissioner Rivera and potentially can introduce John from the Kutztown SBDC. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm on mute here. So saying thank you, Deb, and thank you, Aaron. Before going over to John, I just have a few follow-up questions for you. At the end there, you had a slide as to who you had to call for general questions and who you had to call for technical questions. I know you have a spreadsheet which is to fill out in reference to the revenue and the loss of revenue and so forth. What number would they call for questions in completing that spreadsheet? Would it be under general questions or would it be under technical questions with the SBDC?
I think, you know, the way we're looking at the questions, you know, we will, the Greater Reading Chamber will take the first, I think, shot at answering businesses' questions. And then if they do have more specific needs or, you know, need more extensive help in terms of, looking at their business statements or figuring that out, we would refer it to the SBDC. But we're going to try and answer the questions initially, and then we'll call on our partners if we need additional help.
Okay, thank you very much. And either Deb or Ann, can you just go over what type of costs are eligible to be covered with this grant? Because it's not everything. There are certain costs that can be covered. What are those costs that can be covered through this grant?
I can take a stab at that. So in the legislation, it is defined again as ordinary and necessary. So they, again, relate it back to things that are normal and customary in that business's operations, but they do have examples such as the mortgage payment, rent payment, payroll, utilities, and things along those lines. Okay.
So again, if it's ordinary, customary to your business, then it does qualify. And something, and I know Deb mentioned this, but I just want to re-emphasize it. With this grant, you cannot cover expenses that were already covered by another grant. So for example, if you got the Berks County Restart Loan or the EIDL or the New Start Grant Program, and it covered, say, mortgage for April, May, June, July, and August of last year, up to August, you can use this program money to cover then your mortgage through September, October, November, December, January, and so forth. You cannot use this grant to apply for costs that were covered by another grant program. So there can't be any duplicity in reference to what's being covered for a specific time frame. But again, if one grant only covered certain amount of month of mortgage payment, this grant can help cover the other months that were not covered by another program. One of the other important things to remember also is that this is not a first come, first served grant. It is a competitive grant. The application starts on March the 15th. It runs through April the 5th. Once all the applications are in, then at that point, Greater Berks Development Fund will review those applications. They will look at the priorities that were set by the state. Each of those applications will receive X amount of points based on the information provided. And then at that point, the grants will be determined based on who will get them and what is the amount that they will get. Now, it's important to understand this grant, just as the other grants that the county has done, both for businesses, nonprofits, and so forth, who gets the grant and who gets what amount is not determined by the Board of Commissioners. And this is something we've done purposefully because we don't want to make this political. We want to make this something that is needs-based. So that's why all the information and all the scoring is done by the Greater Berks Development Fund, who is administering this program for the county. So please understand that if you don't get the money, don't say, well, you know, it's because they think I didn't vote for them. No, that's not the case. We don't say who gets it. We ensure that the process is fair for everyone, but the Greater Berks Development Fund then is administering and making that decision based on the information that you provide and that they're able to verify as well. So again, if you don't have everything by March 15th, don't worry about it. You have till April the 5th, but you only have 2 days to submit the information that's requested after you complete the application. So make sure that you have everything in hand. Go to rebuildberks.com, get the list of what you need to be able to submit the application. Have that ready. So when the time comes, we're able to submit all the documentation. If you do not submit everything, Deb, and please clarify this for me, if you do not submit all the supporting documentation, your application will not be reviewed. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. All right. So make sure you have everything there. You know, we don't want you to miss out on a grant because you were missing a piece of documentation or information that was required for the grant application. Okay. So moving on, we're going now to have a conversation with John Stetler, and John is the director of the Small Business Development Center at Kutztown University. John, welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great.
Loud and clear.
As Deb and Aaron mentioned, the Kutztown SBDC Center is also going to partner and provide technical assistance for individuals having issues, possibly filling out the application or understanding what they need to put in there. In terms of financial assistance, as was mentioned, we'll definitely be helping with that. If it's something the GRCA sort of needs to review further, they'll pass it along to us so we can provide technical assistance with, you know, knowing what to fill out for their finances, how to do that. We can certainly guide and help with that. We'll also be helping with our Latino community and any individuals needing bilingual assistance. We are more than happy to assist with that. We have our Latino Business Resource Center. We have 2 bilingual consultants that are ready to and willing and able to help with those translations and those issues of technical nature. And we're partnering with the Berks County Latino Chamber in Angel and his team to sort of triage those instances for the Latino community that will need that assistance. And then we can also see at the SBDC Center if they need assistance further than the CHIRP grant or more in depth with the CHIRP grant. Everything we do is no cost to the community or to anybody involved. So it's definitely, there are a lot of resources and partners and things that we can do to help the community. And specifically with the CHIRP grant, we are more than happy and proud to provide that technical assistance for questions of a financial nature, or like I said, the bilingual assistance, and any other questions that may arise throughout the grant process to make sure that everybody can get those in a timely manner and they're on point and understood and they get the funds that they desperately need.
And John, I want to thank you for having the SBDC be an important partner in this program and in this process. It's important that the business owners have someone that they can go to get the help they need to be able to complete the application properly. So thank you very much. But I also know, John, that apart from helping in this program, there are a lot of other things that the Small Business Development Center does, and you help more than just the businesses that qualify for the CHIRP program. You help all businesses in general. So can you just talk a little bit about what the SBDC does and how you can help our small business communities here in Berks County?
Absolutely. So at the Kutztown SBDC Center, we service 5 counties, Berks County, Chester County, Lancaster County, Lebanon, and Dauphin counties. Everything we do is no cost to the community. We provide help with financial planning, with business planning, with marketing research. We have international trade and export specializations. We have government procurement contract specializations with our PTAC program. We have our Latino Business Resource Center to help the individuals in our Latino community that need bilingual assistance. We partner with numerous institutions, banking institutions, other community leaders and partners. So we have a lot of connections to help with, you know, sort of getting your financial plan set so you're able to go to a bank and get that loan and you have everything in order and ready to go. We do a lot of webinars, roundtable discussions with industry leaders. We do a lot of, we have an 8-week Skills for Success bilingual course that we do. We recently partnered with Univest and Truist Bank to do a 4-part series bilingual on credit repair, identity theft, financial literacy, how to budget. We're trying to develop a QuickBooks program because most individuals, you know, they struggle with the financial aspect and they need help understanding that, or just knowing that they need some kind of system in place to account for what they're doing. So we try to do all those things. We help with marketing research. We produce search engine optimization reports that can help businesses that are looking to get more online business, that, you know, keywords that are entered, identifying what they are and having more traffic driven to your site. We help with that. So there are numerous things that we help, and all of it is no cost. It doesn't cost a single cent to do. It's very easy to sign up. You can go to our website through Kutztown University. If you go on kutztown.edu under administrative offices, you'll see the Small Business Development Center there with all of our partners and resources. You can call us at 484-646-5937 or email us at sbdc@kutztown.edu. We'd be more than happy to help you. We have around 7 consultants. They all have expertise in different areas, strategic marketing. We have a consultant that has over 20 years experience with finance, working at financial institutions. We have our Latino Center with all of their expertise and guidance. So we have a lot of individuals that are very knowledgeable, and we're proud to help our community in any way we can and help businesses start, grow, and prosper, help somebody start a business, help someone expand on their business and achieve their dreams. And we're very thrilled to be a part of all that and a part of the community. And anytime we can partner, especially with the GRCA, with the wonderful things they're doing with the CHIRP grant and the counties, we are absolutely willing to do that, because small businesses are the lifeblood of the community. It makes an impact. It supports jobs. It drives revenue into the local area. It's very vital. And a lot of individuals, especially now with the pandemic, are suffering. And the SBDC is a great resource for them to utilize to help them through that and take a look at what things look like post-COVID, you know, help you plan for what life is going to be like after COVID and during COVID, and to be able to take advantage of all of our resources and tools and expertise that we have. Please reach out to us for any needs that you have, whether you think it's minor or major or whatever the case may be. We would love to talk and chat with you and help you on your journey.
John, thank you very much. This is very good information. I know the SBDC. I'm familiar with the Kutztown University Small Business Development Center. I've been working with them for many, many years, so I know the great work you do. Thank you very much for helping our business community, which so much needs it, especially now, because even through COVID, we have businesses that, although some are closing down, others are starting up, and we want to make sure that when they start, they're doing it the right way so that they can continue to run without any issues into the future, and especially getting through COVID. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioner. We appreciate it.
Okay. And now I know that within the business community, especially here in Reading and surrounding Reading, we have a large Latino business population as well. They play an important part in the local economy, these businesses here. And it's important to be able to provide resources to them in a way that they can understand and that they're able to talk with someone in their own language that they can communicate fluently with. And many of these business owners do understand English, but it's one thing to be able to understand English and speak it, but it's another thing when you're able to speak with someone in your native language and be able to express yourself fully in this language. And that's why the GRCA has partnered with the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce to provide bilingual services and troubleshooting for applicants who their main language is Spanish. So to talk a little bit about that, we have Angel Figueroa, who is a member of the board for the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce. Angel, thank you for being here with us today.
Well, first of all, thank you, Commissioner Rivera, and to all the other commissioners for facilitating and hosting this discussion. You know, I'm just really excited and enthused by how this all came together so quickly. I'm here just reminiscing that just a few weeks ago, we were presented with this opportunity and how we just all came together with much enthusiasm and synergy and making this work. And it gives me a lot of happiness to think what else we're going to be doing in the future together once this opportunity passes us. And I hope and I look forward in having the Berks County Latino Chamber play a role with the Greater Reading Chamber of Commerce and everyone else on this panel. So as I said earlier, you know, through conversations and a few meetings that you, Commissioner Rivera, facilitated, we felt that this was a great opportunity for the chamber to jump right in. You know, the chamber doesn't necessarily have a full-time staffer at this point. You know, due to the pandemic and to COVID, you know, we were somewhat in a little hibernation and trying to really assess our next move as an organization. And we've been having a lot of great conversations with the Greater Chamber of Commerce in terms of how that looks like into the future. And through that, you know, we were able to help participate in this discussion. And our role is a very simple but meaningful one. And that's really to assist Deb and Aaron in helping those Latino entrepreneurs that perhaps need some sort of language assistance in the process. You know, I have to tell you that since getting very familiar with this process in the last week, Josephine Torres, who's going to be the main point of contact, as well as myself, our phone has been inundated. The calls have been coming in left and right. And, you know, we're learning a lot of things throughout this experience. And one of the things that, you know, I'm stressing is the actual code that a lot of these Latino businesses need. And it makes me want to play the number in the lottery because I've been saying it so much. But you know, the excitement is there, and we're just eager to work with the Greater Reading Chamber, with Deb and Aaron, getting ready for the 15th. And our role is to provide technical support and also to provide the space necessary for those Latino-owned businesses that perhaps have certain limitations with technology. And we're going to open up our doors at 540 Upland Avenue and allowing those businesses to set up an appointment with Josie, so like that they could go through the steps and seeing if they are eligible for this grant. So that's our role in this whole process. So we're just excited to be a part of it.
Angel, thank you very much. I'm glad that the Latino Chamber is a part of this. We want to make sure, like I said initially, that this grant money is available to those businesses that need it, that were hurt by COVID, and so that they're able to continue operating and providing the much valuable services that they provide here in the county of Berks. So thank you for being here today, and thank you for all of your assistance as well with this program.
Absolutely.
Now, our next guest is Crystal Seitz. And Crystal, as I said initially, is the president of Pennsylvania Americana Region's Visitor Bureau. Now, before Crystal starts talking, I just want to let everyone know that if we don't have the full amount of dollar applicants within the first round, which is the first 3 weeks, it will solely be Crystal's fault. Because many of these businesses that are in these hospitality categories are members of the Visitors Bureau. So Crystal has a difficult job of making sure that everyone in the industry is aware of this program and making sure that they get their application in on time. So Crystal, welcome.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I'll take it. I have big shoulders, so I can carry that. But again, I'd like to thank the commissioners for making this possible and securing these dollars and other dollars across the last year that we've been going through the pandemic, because it's been, I mean, it really, I am saying this, it's been life-saving for some of these businesses, because we have seen a few close. Others are, you know, they're struggling desperately because of the guidances that are still out there to keep us safe naturally, and they have been keeping us safe, but they've been really hard on the businesses that are part of the hospitality and tourism industry. So thank you again. And again, thank you to my friends at GRCA, because they did a yeoman's job in pulling this all together so quickly. I'm hoping for those that are from our industry that are on the, I guess the webinar, I'll call it today, that they clearly understand the things that they need to do to be able to apply. A couple things I just wanted to quickly touch on was, as a reminder, some of our businesses haven't had the opportunity to apply for a loan or grant, or perhaps when it was time to do that, they just didn't have the time because of being short-staffed and running as fast as they could. They looked at the information and said, oh, I can't do this. Now is your time, because if you have not received any funds, you will be priority in this list of grants. It's not to say that those who have received funds won't be looked at as well, but there's different levels of criteria that might put you up further in the list. I'd also like to say that one of the huge benefits to this is, again, covering payroll, your operations expenses, is your rent, your mortgages. I know that's where many of our businesses struggle right now, is how do we get our rent and mortgage paid, because we can barely pay our staff at this point. My hope is for some that have been doing a little bit better or may already own their business, their facility, that they'll be able to start to think about bringing their staff, more of their staff back. Because as we get into our summer months and all of us are able to get out and do more things, you know, it's pretty tough when you go to a restaurant and you can't get in because they just don't have the people to support the number of people wanting to come into their business. So that's part of my hope here. I'll remind everybody, it's a grant. You don't have to pay this back. So I know some have struggled with the EIDL loan because they said, I don't want another loan. I can't pay anything more than what I'm already stretched out to pay. So that's really appreciated too. One of the questions I do have that maybe Aaron or Deb might have an answer for, I know in some of the information it talks about you're eligible to apply for expenses that are from March 1st, 2020 to the date of the application. I think I might have read this wrong, but on one of the FAQs, I believe it says that you can go out to June 15th with eligible expenses. So I don't know if you can provide any clarity around that. Go ahead, Deb. You have to unmute.
Under the legislation, the grant period could have run from, I think it was March 8th till June 15th. Just because we've shortened the grant application time period, that's why we're saying through the date of the application. So we don't anticipate having folks apply on June 15th because we think, we're going to have enough applications and be approved in a shorter amount of time. So that's that difference in the time.
Their eligible expenses then should only go up to the date they apply. They can't fill a need that would be after that date.
Correct.
Okay.
It's for expenses incurred.
Okay. All right. And just a reminder, our job is, of course, to market these businesses to individuals locally and to those interested in coming into the area. But our job also is to help advocate for those businesses to make sure, through our associations, to make sure that they're getting represented very well. And our hope is, today I was on a call with our Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association, and I understand there may be some more dollars coming down the road for restaurants. So get ready, GRCA. There may be some additional dollars coming out to help, so that's important. And, we need to keep our hospitality businesses viable because without them, yes, we can't support visitors coming into the area who, as a reminder, bring people into sports tournaments, to concerts, to festivals. They stay in our hotels, they eat our food, but all of those hotels and restaurants also use other businesses to support what they do. Your trash haulers, your food vendors, your farmers. I could go on and on and on. So it's important that we know that this for us is so crucial in order to be able to continue the services that our businesses offer. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. And as you said, these businesses, support, again, people that come in to visit the county. So, the economy here is very intertwined, one thing with the other. So we need to make sure that these businesses are fully functioning and fully operational to be able to meet the needs of those that visit, do internal visitation throughout the county, but those that also come from outside to visit Berks County as well. So thank you very much for your support of this program.
You're welcome.
So before we go to questions and answers, Deb, can you just go over again the time frames for this grant and also where businesses can go to apply and where they can go to get more information on the program?
Sure. The application opens at noon on March 15th and will close on April 5th at 5 p.m. The www.rebuildberks.com website is where the application will be located, but it's also the place where additional information, the frequently asked questions, and some of the list of documentation that will be required. It's all housed on that website.
Okay. So again, www.rebuildberks.com, you'll be able to get all the information on there. So please go look at what you need to apply and go preparing for that. Okay, now we'll move into the question and answer part. Barbara, do we have any questions for our panel?
Yes, we actually have one question here from Josephine Torres Boykins. What about renovations, upgrades, etc.?
I'm assuming that question is whether those would be a qualified expense for the grant.
Unfortunately, it is not eligible. So under the legislation, it's only for operating expenses. So again, normal and customary expenses that would be incurred in the operation of the business. There's certainly other programs that may be able to assist, and if they wanted to reach out to GRCA through the financing website or the phone number that's provided, we would certainly be happy to try to assist in another way.
Now, Deb, let me ask you this. If say a restaurant or a hotel had to put up plexiglass at the counter or at the cash register or in between tables, or you needed to do any other upgrades that were related to safety and security due to COVID? I know that was covered by other grants. Is that an eligible expense for this particular grant if it's COVID related?
That's actually a great question. That's obviously become an ordinary and necessary expense, for businesses during COVID. I think we will look at that and put that maybe in the frequently asked questions, but certainly what's ordinary and necessarily has changed. But we will take a look at that and again update that frequently asked questions.
Okay. Because I know here at the county we've done plexiglass and glass barriers at different places, and depending on how much you need to put up, it can get costly. So, it would be good if these businesses were able to recoup these costs that they had to make, not because they wanted to, but because they had to be able to comply with COVID regulations and making sure that they're providing the necessary safety for both their employees and their customers as well. So yeah, if you can look into that and get it on the frequently asked questions, that would be great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, that is the only question we have.
Excuse me, Commissioner.
Yes.
I'm sorry, there is one other question that Commissioner Leinbach sent in.
Okay.
So the question is, has there been any movement at the Commonwealth regarding restaurants and bars affiliated with golf courses?
I have not seen any updates on that question. I don't have an update on that. I'm not sure if anybody else has it. There hasn't been much change since the legislation was announced.
I know from our Pennsylvania Restaurant and Lodging Association, there was conversation about it, but there's not been anything provided yet to say that's been changed.
Okay, Crystal, do you know if there's anything in the works in relationship to that, or haven't you heard anything on that?
No, I haven't heard anything. In fact, we had a call today, and it's just that people were bringing that up again as well, and the PRLA was going to go back to the governor's office and speak to that, but there's not been any movement on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at some of the some of the smaller grocery stores or bodegas, a lot of them sell food as well, and it may not be the main source of income for that business, but it definitely is an important part of the income for that business. So that would, that would be another business that's affected as well, because during a certain time they could not sell food there. So if you can please keep us up to date as well, Crystal. Yeah, if you follow up, if you hear anything, please let us know. That way we will be able to provide the updates through our updates and other means as well. And reach out to those golf courses and other businesses that might be affected by this, because they may have one of the NAICS codes, but it may not be their primary one. And for this grant, it has to be the primary one, which is a 721 or a 722.
Yes. Okay. I will keep you updated.
Okay. Thank you, Crystal. Barbara, are there any other questions at this time?
There are no other questions.
Okay, so before we close, is there anyone from the panel that has anything that they would like to add or have any closing remarks?
Commissioner, I would just like to add that there will be a Spanish version of the application online, as well as some of the documents will also be available in translated form.
Okay, and will that also be at the same location at the www.rebuildberks.com?
Correct.
Okay, so you'll be able to go there and find it either in English or in Spanish.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. And I know also our IS department has published the websites for and phone numbers for the SBDC, for PA Americana, for Rebuild Berks and so forth. So go on to that section and you'll find the links and the phone numbers and contact information for the guests that are here today. I want to thank the guests for all the valuable information that they shared today. Looking forward to this 3-week process from March 15 through April the 5th and being able to help as many businesses as possible. So what I am asking of those who are watching this program, either now live or looking at the rerun or video of it. Please help us share this information with any business owner that you know that fits into the 721 or 722 code. If you're not sure, if they're not sure, have them reach out to the Greater Berks Development Fund. They will be able to let them know. We'd rather you err on the side of not being than being one that can apply and not applying. So if you do have any questions, if you're not sure, please reach out. That's what they're there for, to answer any questions for you. Before we close, I also want to remind our viewers, last Wednesday, we spoke about the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. That is a grant and money that is available for those who have been affected by COVID and are having difficulties paying their rent. For more information on that, you can visit the Berks Coalition to End Homelessness website at www.bceh.org. That's bceh.org, or you can call them at 610-372-7222. Again, that's 610-372-7222. Thank you very much for tuning in to this program today. Please help us share this information so that it can benefit our businesses here in Berks County. Thank you very much and have a good afternoon.
Thank you.